Hi, everybody. It is Sunday, January 26th, 2020. I have a different kind of eBay video to make today. I have some defects to tell you about and a story about something that happened to me as a buyer. If you are a seller, though, you will find this story very interesting. If you're a buyer, this is some good stuff to know. You will not care about the defect stuff, but just bear with me, try not to zone out too much as I tell it. I'm just going to tell the story basically in the order that it happened. Um, yeah, so here we go. Bought an item back in December. Star Wars poster. Specifically was looking, it took me like 2 hours to find and buy a poster because first I had to find what design I wanted, and then find one from a seller in the United States that was selling an actual poster, because sellers in Asia don't sell normal posters. They're fabric posters like a flag, which is not what I wanted. So finally find one. The seller claimed they were in Minnesota. They claimed shipping United States Postal Service and 5 business days shipping. After I bought it, we had Christmas and we had New Year's. So I was very lenient with these 5 business days. I did not count Christmas Eve. I don't think I counted Boxing Day. Didn't count New Year's Eve. So I give them extra days where I didn't expect them to be shipping. But more than 5 days is going by, and I'm wondering what the hell is going on. And then I'm starting to think maybe they just didn't mark it as shipped. This is a new seller. They had like 23 feedback or something. Everybody starts somewhere. So I wasn't quite worried about it yet. But then, yeah, like 2.5 weeks go by. I got an email and I knew it was an Asia seller. Like, you can see the name. This is what they do. They send you emails about other crap. So getting worried. And of course, still no tracking, right? Day or two later, got another email that now says it's been shipped. And it gives a UPS tracking number. If you've watched my other videos, you know I don't like UPS. We have a lot of problems with them. We don't even have UPS here. We have a private courier that handles packages for UPS. So I never would have bought something if somebody said they were using UPS. So I messaged the seller right away and I said, we don't have this courier. I don't agree to this. Since you haven't actually shipped it yet, can you just cancel this? Plus, I've been waiting forever. They replied back and they admitted they are actually in Vietnam. So I don't know if they shipped from Vietnam to New York. Now remember, I said their listing stated they were in Minnesota. I don't know if they shipped from Vietnam to New York, and that's where tracking took over, or if they're like drop shipping from somewhere in New York. I don't actually know what in that regard was happening, but should have been shipping from Minnesota. So yeah, gets marked as shipped. They tell me it's too late. They can't cancel. Oh, we'll just tell the driver to leave it on your doorstep. That's even worse. I definitely don't want that. So yeah, I'm right pissed off. A week goes by. It wasn't until that Friday, from Monday to Friday, before tracking actually updated. And that's when it said received in New York. So yeah, that's why I don't know where this was actually coming from. Um, Tracking was very weird on it too. Like it said something about arriving in Canada and it sat there for a week. Um, Finally gets to me, and the customs form says clothing, because it's a fabric damn poster. Open a return request because the seller misrepresented the item location. They misrepresented the item and they used a different shipping courier. If a seller can upgrade, but that still wasn't cool because not everywhere has UPS. So yeah, open a return request. The seller doesn't accept it. Instead, he sends a message and asks me for my email address. I said, no, there's absolutely no reason you need that email address. If a seller doesn't want a return, they can just click the button that says, I do not wish to accept this return, refund the buyer. They could also, because now we're still, whether it was Vietnam or United States, I'm in Canada. If you're in a different country and you want to return something, you are fronting those return shipping costs. You can hope the seller is honest and refunds your extra shipping, or not extra shipping, but the extra for the shipping you paid. But don't expect it. Most aren't. That's why I never return things. But at this point, I'm thinking I'll spend more than the poster is worth to return it, just because I'd rather Canada Post have my money than this guy. So he replies back again and says, yeah, I need your email address to avoid this eBay case, because if this goes through eBay, my account can get suspended. Not my problem. Like, comply with eBay policies and you wouldn't have a problem. So, yeah, I didn't reply again, left it at that. eBay could step in as of yesterday. So this morning, we call PayPal. Or not PayPal, we call eBay. First rep was Philippines call center representative. And he says, oh yeah, you'll have to give them your email address. No, definitely not. Didn't even want to waste time on that call, just hung up on him. Call back. Another Filipino rep. It's going to be one of those days where you just keep calling and that's all you're going to get. So I said, this is what the rep before us just told us. Like, this is what's going on. They've misrepresented the item, the shipping, the handling time, the location, everything. And she says, so after I tell her everything, she goes, okay, so what would you like me to do? Well, whatever you want to do on your end. At this point, because they haven't done anything with the return, you should actually be just refunding me and closing the case in my favor. That's what should happen if a seller ignores a return request, because they're basically saying they don't care. But no, she starts arguing on behalf of the seller. Basically, they want their item back. Then they should have accepted the return. Well, you need to give them your email address. No, I don't. Yes, you do, because that's how they'll send you money for the shipping, because we don't want you to be out shipping. I said, eBay policy is that this is what eBay policy is. I have to front the shipping costs, and I'm fine that I have to do that. I will abide by eBay policy. So if you want to force them to accept that, you go right ahead. And she keeps saying, no, give them your email address. No, I could lose everything in a phishing scam. I will not provide my address. And there's no reason. They could just refund me the extra. She doesn't get it. She keeps arguing. Hung up on her too. So we call back a third time. At this point, because we had defects to deal with, one way to get a U.S. representative, and this is, I think there's only one time I didn't get a U.S. representative doing this. Call eBay, and when you go through the steps to get the code for why you want to call them, go into accounts, restrictions and suspensions. This will get you a U.S. representative. So we did that because we got to talk to someone about defects. We got a rep in Ireland. Good enough. So talking to him, so now about the defects. 2 items that were shipped a couple weeks ago. When you buy your shipping label from PayPal, it will automatically give eBay that information. It will say marked as shipped, and the tracking number will be there. Sometimes it glitches out and it doesn't, but then when you go back to eBay, you see you have 2 items to ship, and you would say, oh, I just did. here's the information. This didn't happen. Everything got marked as shipped. So I didn't look. I didn't go through each thing. I had like 8 things to ship that day. This only happened on 2. So yeah, on the 20th, the new seller, what's the thing? Evaluation happened. The top rated seller evaluation. Even if you're not top rated, you got to keep an eye on this, because this is one of the ways you get top rated. But yeah, I'm at 96.37% for late shipments. Take a look. It says not uploaded at all. Okay, that's wrong. It was on there. Why should I be penalized for this? So yeah, we asked the rep about this. He says, yeah, you're right. That wasn't your fault. I'm going to remove the defects. It's a big, complicated thing. He has to fill out a report and then do it this way, send it to somewhere in Ireland. They'll send it to Salt Lake City. Could take like 4 weeks, but he says those defects will be removed. So perfect. Now we have someone smart. So I said, I also need to talk to somebody about this return. Told him everything. He says, yeah, you are completely right. And yes, if a seller just gave their money to a buyer, got their information, sent them money for return, that buyer probably would just pocket that money and never return the item. That is not what eBay policy is. You are correct. He put in a report to report the seller for misrepresenting their item location and for trying to take the return off-site to avoid eBay defects or restrictions or whatever. And he transferred me to another rep in returns because he couldn't deal with it. But when this happens, so again, this is why if you can get a US rep or Ireland, they will at least talk to the Filipino call center rep before you do and tell them, this is what's happening. This is what you need to do for them. So when they answer, they can't pull any of their bullshit, pretend they don't know policies, tell you something else. They just can't. So yeah, get back on the phone with her, said this is what's happening, as you've been told. Um, this is where the problems are. So something needs to be done about this. Okay, yeah, I'm closing it right now, and you're going to be refunded immediately. So don't even have to return it, which is cool, bonus. But like I said, I would have. I'd rather someone else gets my money than that guy. But yeah, that's a seller has 5 days to accept a return request. So if they ignore it, they're basically saying they don't want it back. So at that point, eBay can't keep trying to force it and say that seller wants their item back. You don't know that. So yeah, there's a point where a lot of sellers are getting pissed off at the Philippines call center because they just don't know. Well, it seems like they don't know policies or they just don't care. I don't think anybody actually knows what their issue is. But this time it almost seemed like with the Sherman Ragland thing, it almost seemed like, oh, well, we're Asian and this other seller's Asian, so we're just going to be on his side. Like that's what it felt like to me when I was talking to them. So yeah, it was going to be a bit of a piss off. The other thing, so when my seller evaluation happened on the 20th, I was having pretty decent sales. January's quiet, things are picking up. All of a sudden sales had died down this week, like completely, like nothing. I was like, okay, well that sucks. And they say things like that won't affect you, but they most definitely do. Because as soon as he put in for those defects to be removed, while I was still on the phone, because I was using my husband's phone, but my phone was sitting there, a sale came in for $190 and an offer for $175 on something else while I was on the phone. So any little defect, even if eBay says they don't affect you, they definitely do affect you. So yeah, glad we got those off. Wonderful. I don't think I have anything else to add to that. So thank you for watching. If you're a buyer and you have any questions, comment below. I don't always reply right away, but I'll try to help you once I see it. Thanks for watching. Bye.